Mic check, mic check. Okay, I think we're live. What's going on? My reefing fam, March here. This is Frag Box TV. What is Frag Box TV? Maybe you're new to the channel, you have no idea what's going on. This is a little store here in Toronto, and what we do is specialize in flipping A-cans that have fallen. What's going on here? No, not that. Sidetrack. Let's get this out of the way. We specialize in saltwater aquariums and everything to do with saltwater aquariums. So we do videos like this one, and today I want to talk about corals. We do videos on everything related to saltwater tanks, but I'm in a coral mood, and what I'm going to do is walk through one of our beds here. Maybe I'll do a little bit of the frag tank there over too as well, but I'm going to start with this one, and I'm just going to kind of describe to you what's in stock and what's looking good and maybe what's not looking good, because as you guys know, I like to share with you the good, the bad, and the more bad. Okay, step one. With my handy Apex, I go over here and I press a little button, and what that's going to do is turn off the flow so that I can show all of you fellow reef fams out there what is going on. Where should we start? Maybe this corner over here, maybe over there. Maybe we start with the best. Why don't we do that? Ooh, actually, why don't we start with these long tentacle anemones? We don't get these in very often. It's not something you're going to see here often. It's just not something we typically carry. These aren't going to last long. They're going to sell pretty quick. They're enormous. They're beautiful, they're healthy, they're green, and I got a sick, yeah, dope, amazing guys. Check this out, this bubble tip here. I think he just ate, so he's a little bit deflated, but he's like not our typical green BTA bubble tip. He's got this yellow iridescent hue coming in right on the tips there, finished with this little orange. It's almost like a nipple, you see right there? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it some love. I'll get the macro lens out after. So what I wanted to start with was really this over here, this Euphyllia. This is just a monster of a coral. Look at the size of that thing. This is 3 feet across, okay, just to get an idea if you don't know. This is 8 feet over here, 96 and 36, and that's in inches, and then 12 inches high. So our frag tanks are about, I think it's about 200 US gallons, but look at the size of this thing. It's massive. It's beautiful. It's healthy. Look at the color. It looks like it was painted, like Mother Nature took her brush and said, hello, Mr. Euphyllia, I'm going to make you like this, and I'm going to make your little brother look like this. This is a really nice size for an Euphyllia. Very expensive. Something like this runs 700 Canadian, something like that closer to 800, 900. I think it's on sale right now. We are trying to move it just because we have new corals coming in, and it is quite large. So with that being said, I'm going to move over here and give some love to the Euphyllia glabarensis. What's this guy talking about? These funny words. Also known as torch coral. Arguably one of the most popular corals in the hobby today. These are very cool. They have this striking, vibrant green, finished off with the, like, I want to say orange or peach on the tips, but they're really cool. This is kind of green with blue, and we have quite a few torch corals. These have gone up incredibly in price since before COVID. They've slowly been creeping up. So when I started retailing and selling corals years ago, sorry about that, they've gone up incredibly. So when I first started retailing corals, I was buying these wholesale for maybe 20 bucks, $15 per head, and then I was happy to sell them for double that. I'm selling them for $30, $40. That is definitely not the case. These retail for about 150 Canadian. It's about the size of, I don't know, maybe a small apple, even less than that. You know, now that I think back, we used to get coral colonies for $30, maybe less than that, for an entire colony, and that was any colony, any size. It was just, the prices were ridiculous, and then yeah, it's just long gone. The price of shipping has gone up like crazy. This is a Indonesian gold torch. Really cool coral. Yellow, golden, that's why we call it gold, with a white tip, and then sometimes you'll get kind of this green right in the mouth. You can kind of see there towards the center of it. They're stagnant right now just because I have the flow off, but otherwise these are waving in the wind, rather the flow. Let me show you this. Actually, since we're on the topic of torch corals, let me show you 2 other ones we hardly ever get in. These are really cool. I believe they're called cristata. So it is a torch coral. I think it's called glabarensis cristata. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to look up the Latin name. But basically, it's a torch. They come from Tonga, and they're stubby. So they stay really, really, really short. Like the tentacles don't really come out. And then this over here is, wow, maybe I shouldn't talk. I should just hover the camera over it quietly for about 3 more seconds. This is the Holy Grail torch. and it is a sight to behold. It is not cheap, it is not common, it is quite beautiful. We got in, I think, 2 colonies actually, and regrettably, I hate to inform you, they all perished, and I was only able to save this one head. That's it, this one piece. Fragged it, it looks good, it's healthy. It sucks, but something about expensive corals, I think that they are conscious and sentient beings, and I think that they know that they're expensive, and so when we import them, they're like, you think you're gonna make money on me? F you, buddy, I'm gonna die. And that's what they do, and they're not nice. These are a trade-in, actually. Somebody just brought us a bunch of zoas, so if your tank is doing well, zoas can pop off like weeds. So they're not exactly open just yet because he just brought them in, but this guy gets incredible color. I'm actually envious of the size of his purple monsters. These are purple monster zoas. Some people might call them pallies. I'm kind of going back to just calling them all zoas. For me, a pally is really the Palithoa grandis. You know, these really are called pallies. We call these Hawaiian people eater pallies, and then these are magicians. People call these pallies. I think I'm just going to start calling them all zoas. You know, depending on the light, these will shrink and grow bigger, and they're all cared for more or less the same. This is a really cool branching hammer that I just acquired that I'm definitely going to keep. I got 2 of them. I'm going to be a little bit selfish here. I think I'm going to keep both. They're more on the blue spectrum. I expect them to get darker over time. And I think what I'm going to do is add them to my little hammer garden that I have going over here. This is our, I always say 80, 90, something like that. I'm having a little bit of issues in this thing. One, the fish are losers, they're fighting. You see I have this one spot right here. That to me is begging for one of those blue branching hammers. It's a rare color to see on hammer. It's something I want to culture and keep. I got to put it through quarantine before I add it. And I feel like I have too much orange in here. This is in the orange spectrum. We call this one rose gold. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up the color correctly. And then here we have orange. Maybe I'll stick it here. This sucks. It's a Goniopora, Monty Cap. It's peeling, and I don't know why. The rest of the tank, more or less thriving, looking really good. I'm thinking maybe chemical warfare. I'm seeing some action on the leathers here. They're acting a little bit funky, like this and this one. Maybe he's releasing something in the water, and it means it's signaling to me that it could be time to run carbon. There might be some chemical warfare that I can't see with my eyes. The end result might be this right here, because all the other parameters really good. Tank's doing excellent, very stable right now. But I think I'm going to keep that hammer. I've managed to talk about nothing, like 3 corals. Let me do a little bit faster. Okay. Actually, you guys don't like faster. You guys like the longer format. This is wall hammer. So the one I just showed you was branching hammer, like this one here. Hello. That's nice. It's going to end up on the website probably tomorrow. It's hard to find time right now to take photos. We have someone that's actually doing the photos for us. These are probably going to go on the site soon. So those are branching, also branching. Very cool. Wall variety. So we call it Euphyllia ancora, I believe. Kind of like an anchor, the way they grow. Maybe that's where they got the name from. They come in much nicer colors, in my opinion, than the branching. Like, they grow slower. They're not that easy to frag. Some people say they're not fraggable. I'm going to disagree. I actually just fragged. Sorry, I keep walking back and forth between the tanks, but I'd like to give you an example. I just fragged my blue one here because I had some tissue recession. So I cut off the piece that was dying, and I'm pretty certain that I'm going to save it. I did an iodine dip. Maybe I should have done a video on that. You can frag wall hammers. Online you'll read that you cannot, but this obviously is a piece of a much larger, probably a hammer in the ocean that's like, 3 feet by 3 feet. And what they do is they take a chisel and a hammer, these divers, and they literally break pieces of it off. So I don't frag them personally. Some stores do. They'll actually cut it in half, and it's not good. Sometimes they'll look healthy, they'll open, and then it's just kind of like borrowed time. They'll just slowly recede and die. So that's something I don't do here in the store. Some people frag open brains and plate corals. It can be done. It's a lot of stress on the animal. I leave them the way they are when they come in, and then people with bigger tanks can purchase them. The color on these ones are crazy, and if you're wondering what the numbers are, that's not the price. Like, that one is not 13 bucks. That corresponds to a number on our iPad here, so customers can kind of go through the iPad, because there's different prices, and we try and be transparent. So I'm not just calling numbers off the top of my head. Plus there's 7 employees here, so you can kind of scan this barcode here, and it opens up on your phone or whatever you're using, and you can shop and see all the prices very transparently. This tank, not too many SPS, a little bit on the low side. We did get in some really cool wild colonies of acro. They're starting to color up nice, tenuous. Some more tenuous, personal favorite of mine, tenuous, some more tenuous. But it's cold over here. So we're in Canada. I cannot ship to the US. You guys get tons of calls every day. If I step outside, we're negative 25 degrees Celsius this evening. I can't explain to you what kind of cold that is. Negative 25 Celsius. It's well below freezing. Actually, fun little fact, I had a pipe burst in my house, so I have a flood at home right now, and I'm on the fence of calling insurance or not, and I have 3 inches of water all over my house. But yeah, it gets cold here. So why am I talking about the weather? It's a little bit tricky to ship SPS, so I ship more of the hardier species, but we do a lot less SPS and acro in the winter months, and we kind of transition into LPS and softies, which ship really well. Why am I saying shipping? Because a large portion of our business is done online. We actually do more online orders now than we do walk-ins. So this is an online store. This is a long tentacle plate coral. Sorry, that was a very long-winded sidetrack about weather and shipping. We'll get back into the corals, but that's why that tank is empty. And these are some amazing Gonies or Alvies. I always forget, so you know what I did? I wrote it here on the wall. Yeah, well, let's see. What did I write? 12 equals Alvi, 24 equals Goniopora. So that's for the tentacles. That's how you can tell them apart. So if you really want to get into it, you look at them and then you can count. Am I seeing 12 or 24? And why it's important to make that distinction, I find Alveoporas a little bit easier, and I think that's because they're fully synthetic. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they're fully synthetic. As where Goniopora are somewhat synthetic. They can convert some, but they do require some supplemental feeding. And so for that, like this is a really nice piece, man. So is this over here. Check this out. We use this. It's actually a Canadian company. I don't know if you can find it in the US. It's called Reef. It was specially designed just for feeding that specific coral, but it's a great all-around coral food. And we feed it to all of our coral tanks here in the shop. Awesome stuff. And the Gonies and Alvies really, really love it. Let's see what else we have in here. Some nice open brain corals. So these are like what we consider solitary corals. Really cool red, green, blue sort of splatter going throughout it. This is rare. You know what? I don't know how I passed over this. Number 51. This is a plate coral and it's red. So incredibly rare color to find on a plate coral. It's like a reddy orange, and then see the tentacles on it? They're like purple, they're iridescent purple. It's a really cool specimen, and it's a great size because smaller is almost better with these ones, so you can watch it grow and baby it. You don't really want a massive plate coral, I guess, unless you have a huge tank. But for something reasonable like this is a 55 gallon, I believe, the Red Sea Reef for 250. That would make a good size. It's looking a little ugly. We just redid the rockscape. I am going to do a video talking about why we did that. We moved away from SPS. Tia worked her magic again. I'm really happy with the rocks. I think it's going to fill in nicely. It's going to be all soft coral. Let me get back to here. Let me show you this piece. This is funky. Someone just brought this in, actually. Check out the mushrooms on this. Woo! Rhodactis. We just did that video on bounce mushrooms. And you can see right there that little vesicle. It looks like it's starting to bounce. Over here as well. Very nice. Lots of aptasia. So our friend Zachary is dealing with some aptasia in his tank, but the mushrooms are just incredible. Very nice. Why don't I give some love to these hammers? We got some Duncans in. Sorry, hammers. Actually, I got distracted. Duncan. And Zoanthids. We did get some very cool zoas in recently, so I'll show you different morphs. I love seeing when they come from the wild with a mix. So you see on one side, 2 different colors that occur in the wild. It's almost like Mother Nature's own little Zoanthid garden. These are really cool. I don't know if they have a name. We normally call them Firestorm. I don't know if they have a more commonly accepted name. These are very well known. These are a classic. These are the radioactive dragon eyes. But then over here we have a morph. As you can see, they start as the classic, and then, oh, what's going on? I see some blue. Bam! We end up moving into the what we call the speckled radioactive dragon eyes. So similar to these are really cool. But then you get into this bluish, speckly, sort of agave almost looking pattern. These are really nice over here too. They sometimes go by the name of Spider-Man. I don't think they're true Spider-Mans, but zoas, there's so many different names, and then, you know, it varies city to city. Some of them are just, there's no question when you see something like this, a magician. These are magicians over here. There's nothing that looks like it. Magicians are magicians. End of story. Meeting adjourned. Everyone go home. Thanks for coming. Those are magicians. Game over. Even these, some eagle eyes mixed in with some other ones. Very nice zoanthids. These have been dipped the shit out of. So one thing with zoas when they come from the wild, I'm always stressing you gotta dip zoas extremely dirty when it comes to pests, because there are 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. There's zoanthid eating nudies, zoanthid eating spiders, a type of snail, and a crab. And these poor suckers have 4 different pests that will actually eat them. Some corals have really no pests that are going to eat them. Like, you know, chalice corals, you don't really need to watch out for that much. Acro, there are a few. You know, Acanthophilia, there isn't like an Acanthophilia eating nudibranch out there. But this poor coral has 4 different ones that prey on specifically these. So I do find when they come from the wild, I do find some of the pests and eggs. We really spend time. I dip them like a mother lover. I dip them really hard, and I actually dip them in fresh water. People think I'm crazy. It doesn't harm them. I'll show you in a video if you like. I do fresh water, like lukewarm fresh water, heavy handed on the dip, generous with the dip, and often 2 times the recommended time. And then I'll do a visual inspection, and I'll do it again the next day. I don't know how much I can stress. You got to dip the zoas. We have a lot of zoas here in the store, so it's very important for us to dip and really be on top of them. And the one thing about the nudies, they're kind of cool, because what they do is they'll take the color of the zoanthid. I didn't mean for this to be a zoanthid eating video, but there's really no script here. Like here in my hands, you know, I just take the camera and start talking. They take the color of the zoa. So let's say it was eating this green one. The pest will actually turn a vibrant green, and then it's quite easy to spot at night. If you go with like a blue flashlight, they just stand out, and they're very easy to pick off. And if it did have any pests, you would see many of the heads closed. But I think that's it for zoa eating pests. Let's talk about maybe some elegance coral. You can see where it gets its name from, because it's elegant. And this, I don't know why anyone hasn't picked this up. This is a purple dragon colony. So it's a large piece. Usually we sell frags of this for $50, $60. This is a large, beautiful, like way bigger than a frag. This is a colony of purple dragon. I think it's on the site for like 140 bucks. It's strange. People want smaller pieces. I could frag this and do 10 frags at $50, and those are going to sell all day on the site. People want little pieces to grow out. It's just how the market is. And on something like this, if I 10 times 50, that's $500. As a business owner, I'm happy to make 500 over 140, but sometimes we bring in a piece that's just beautiful the way it is. I don't want to frag it. It's spectacular. The shape, it's like a little piece of art, and I'd love for someone to take it home. I actually don't like fragging. I know it sounds weird, because that's what we do. This is Frag Box. It's in the company name. We have thousands of frags. I feel like sometimes it's a shame. It's such a beautiful piece. Look how much time went into, you know, growing something like that. And then me, I'm a butcher over here chopping them all up. But that's where the market's headed. That's what people want, are smaller and smaller pieces. As aquariums become smaller and smaller, as I think, because housing becomes smaller and smaller. So that's where we're going. But even something like this is Acropora carduce. We call this a black dragon. Beautiful piece. I don't want to frag this thing up. Look at it. It's stunning. Pacillopora, we just got in. This is something we do not get in often at all. Really at all. It used to be super common, not anymore. Here's another piece. They're a little bit bleached, so I got to bring them back. And then they're going to be ridiculous. They're going to be really nice. They just need some love. They need some time. Some pipe organ. We just got in, little piece. One of my personal favorite corals. If you ever look at my display tank, if you want to know if March likes something, just check out my tank here in the store, because if I like something, I'm going to put it 2 or 3 times in the tank. This one's getting a little messed up here with some sponge, but you can see I have 1, 2, and then 2.2. I used to have 3. When I like a coral, I'll add lots of it. The frog spawns, the acants, the hammers, the leathers. I'm a little bit boring in that aspect. I'll plant many of the same pieces over and over again. This is a nice large piece of branching green Monty. I think some people call it elkhorn. I'm not sure why. Oh, maybe because it looks like an elkhorn. Duh. Anyways, some Kenya tree. This is a good candidate for fragging. Some beautiful blastos. I don't know why it says Tammy next to it. Hi, Tammy. Who are you? Okay. Anyways, maybe it's on hold for Tammy. That's the thing. We have 6, 7 people working here now, so stuff goes on hold, and different customers kind of buddy up sometimes with different employees. And I find that, like, someone will, let's say Dylan is serving them or sets them up with the tank, they'll always come back looking for Dylan. And so Dylan almost becomes their sales rep here, or Matt, or Tia, or Jay, or Mike, or whoever's working, right? And yeah, so I don't know who Tammy is or why it says that Blasto. I didn't want to sell it. Who knows? Maybe they sold it. That's the thing. I'm not always here. Let's see what we have for frags. Frag packs. These are on the site right now. They should not still be here. They should be gone. And I think it's just the one left. We have, oh, let me jump around to the other side. Some cool stuff. We were expecting some captive red yellow clams. They did not come in. Issues with flights. COVID is still a thing. So instead, we're housing a bunch of snails. If someone wants some margarita snails, no alcohol. Over here, war coral. Hello. How freaking cool is that? It's pretty neat. Very, very nice. Bicolor war coral. These are some, what do we call these? Just a really cool specimen of Discosoma. That's the type of mushroom it is. Some different colored GSP, kind of darker green with white mouth. You know, not the most exciting coral, but it's just nice variety. Different than the, so this is one. Different than the one we typically have. Don't get nauseous here with my movement. This is the like electric green type. And then we sometimes get fingering type, like these ones here. They kind of grow out into branches, but this is pretty cool too. This is a chalice. This is just so iridescent, so fluorescent. Orangey, yellow. I can't remember the name. And some zoas we haven't had in a while. Oh, that's not good. It's a hammer touching $150 zoa. We definitely do not want that happening. So that's how corals kill each other. But some really cool zoas we haven't had in a while. So the Fruit Loops, some yellow brick roads, speckled crack. Speckled crack, I think. There's a lot. Scrambled eggs, cherry hornets, more Fruit Loops, some agaves, some butt munchers. That's a good name. Some scorpion over here, some purple monster chalice, golden hammers, goldenrod anacropora, illuminati, raja rampage, Dr. Fuzzy, rainbow gonies. Man, I could do this all day. Jack-o'-lantern leptocerus, red riding hood. Lots of corals. Some nice yumas. Some very well encrusted millies. Some Recordia. Florida Recordia. Why Florida Recordia? Because they come from Florida. That's where our supplier is. Somewhere I wish I lived. I'm gonna move down there. I'm done with this bullshit weather. These are pretty cool. This is some Tortusa. Very easy species of acro to keep. If you want to get into it, look for Tortusa. And same with this one. I can't correctly ID the species, but it's really fuzzy. Like, I call it fuzzy because you see the polyps that are out. It's just so much fuzz. It's great. Some Pokeroo leptastria and some bird's nest, some bubble gum. Hubba bubba, some very cool Rhodactis. Lots of nice frags in here still. Even after a busy weekend, tons of Goni frags. We started working through the colonies, fragging them. They're starting to open up nice. So if you saw any of the nice Gonies that we had sort of in there from the last shipment, it's been about a week or two since we fragged. I like to give them some time to heal. Like, these ones are maybe a week old. They just take time to open up. They kind of look like trash for a bit. And then after maybe one more week, boom, they're all gonna look like this. They're all gonna look open and happy. Some goblins on fire. Look at these Super Saiyans killing it. I think that's about it. I'm not going to get too much into the cheaper frags over here, but there is a nice large selection. Like, those are all $10. Those are all $20, $30, $40. And then if you're in the US, your dollar is a lot stronger than ours. I'm going to show you a beautiful starfish, our new CO2 scrubber. Look at this heavy duty monster of a thing. Made in the best country in the world. What's that? Italy. Ma che cazzo fa. They make good stuff, Italians. I'm biased. So that's actually going to go on there. We're dealing with some low pH issues. I'm not getting the growth that I'm used to out of certain systems. We have a pH over here. This is sort of what we call our main system. And this is all connected downstairs. One massive loop, one massive sump. Our pH never goes lower than 8.1, and we're usually reaching about 8.5. We do nothing for that. I keep that window open over there. This door opens constantly. Great air exchange, people coming in and out. And then I have another window here, whatever, it's in the back hallway with a fan, and that's just to keep the air circulating. This coral grows in there very fast, very, very quick. This not as fast. So I'm getting pH of about 7 point, not higher than 7.9, and then maybe 7.6 at night. So I'd like it a little higher. I don't usually recommend messing with pH. This is a really easy fix. So look into CO2 scrubber, or I'll do a video when I set it up. This one was quite expensive. It is large. You wouldn't put something like that on your tank at home, I think, unless you have a large tank. And this is really cool too. This new product, I'm going to do a video review on it. Reef Delete. What it does, it's a, what I think it does, it's a laser, and you shine it through your glass, and it's to nuke Aptasia inside your aquarium. So I'm excited to try that, and maybe, oh, this is a very good candidate to try it on, because this is just completely covered. Lots of little Aptasias that we're going to murder. So this is going to become Murder Box TV. I think that's it, guys. We're going to wrap this one up. If you like the content, if you're not tired of my voice and you want to see more of these, subscribe. And we're going to do this again tomorrow because this tank's looking like ass. Oh my god, I don't want to show you that. Let me show you something nice to leave you for the day. Let's go find something cool as we say goodbye. What do we want to say goodbye to? Here, Green Goni. Come back tomorrow because we do a video like this. We try to do a video like this every single day of the week. That's how TV works, right? Frag Box TV. You get it? Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a very lovely rest of your day.